this is something that perhaps you tend to ignore sometimes, or take it very important, take it lightly, but that is on your health and your lifestyle. Now, health and lifestyle, by the way, go hand in hand. You might have a good, health, with no any medical conditions, but how do you live the lifestyle as well? So they do go hand in hand, they complement each other. And that is why it is important for us to have a conversation about it and around it. And we'll be talking a bit more about 3 important things, and that is on your heart, your head, and your gut. What do you let in your heart? What do you let into your head, as well as your gut? So that is the conversation around that. So if you'd love to be part of this conversation, talk to us across our social media platforms on EBN TV. We are live across all social media pages. Our SMS line is open as well, 23059, as well as our WhatsApp number, where you can send us a message and we'll be able to sample some of your feedback, thoughts, comments, questions perhaps that you might have. We'll be glad to engage you on that. So let me introduce my guest in studio this morning. I'm joined by Wilson Kanyi, who is a life health and wellness consultant. Thank you for coming in. Good to see you.
Thank you so much once again, Cynthia, for that.
Yeah.
It's quite a while since we met.
It's been a while. Is it too late for Happy New Year, though?
Well, it is not, because you have never said that to me on air.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's good to have you.
Yes.
And I remember when we were going through some of the issues that we'll talk about,
Yes.
you really sent these 3 important things, and you said those are the 3 brains that somebody has, and that is the head, the heart, and the gut.
Yes.
So perhaps that is where we need to start on, so that people understand why are we calling it the 3 brains.
Well, thank you so much. I want first also to thank you, viewers, for making time to be with us today. And the reason as to why we have this important discussion as we speak is because we have got 3 brains. There is the head brain, there is heart brain, and gut brain. This is something that might not be very common to many of us. And as I was doing my own research and my experience, I've realized that the 3 areas, it's completely the health that we need. If you take care of these 3 areas, then I can tell you can live forever, or for long.
Wow.
Let me say for long. But if these 3 areas have got issues, then we find we might always be having 1, 2, 3 concerns with our health. And I want also to mention something. There is a magic word with 3. Even you go back and find, if something is in 3 folds, then it works better than when it is in 2 or 1, or even when it is 4. So when even God himself created a human being, he knew very well he has to put the 3 folds together. The head brain, the heart brains, and the gut brains. That's now a complete human being. Imagine anything else is like accessories. The muscles, accessories. Name them, the eyes, accessories. Because without brain, how can you be able to comprehend things?
Yes, right.
Without heart, how can you be able now to function with the normal things? Without gut, how can body be supplied with energy from the food we eat? So you agree with me, even the viewers, that the most important thing that we normally have to understand, irrespective of the age, relation, or race, is 3 brains. Name that. It is simple as that, but it can also be very complicated if you want it to be. But how can you have complication with what you have? It's something that we all have. Brains, we have heart, and we have gut. So our point is to make sure that we understand them the best way. 2, we make sure that we take care of them. Because if you don't understand something, how can I be able to take care of it? So the point is, we make sure that we understand them properly, and then we can keep them going on the way they are supposed to be, and keep them as per what God created them to be. Because he also said, we are the temple. So what we need to do, and he said very clearly that we take good care of the temple. So let us start taking care of these 3 areas, and I'm assuring you that you'll always be happy. Yes.
Right, and you've said, the first step is understanding, and that falls back to just the knowledge of it.
Yes.
Because most of the time, people will be very much key, perhaps, on their health, basically how they're feeling, you know, am I having a headache or not, you know, do I feel any pain on my joints or not. So normally we are so much focused on what we would feel physically, but we forget about the mental aspect as well. So I'd love us to start from the head, which is one of the brains, so that we understand what comes with, you know, what we let into our mind. What kind of mental state do we need to have for us to say that we've really much accomplished or we're really taking care of our minds?
Well, that's a good question, and how I would like to approach it is that these three things are interconnected. But the most important thing I would say is that each has got its own role. For it to function well with the next, it has to have function well with itself. Starting with the head, of course, is that head, it deals with thoughts. The thoughts that we normally get from ourselves and from what we see, from what we comprehend, from what we get around ourselves, from what we read. Thoughts are actually very key because it's like they bring the outside world to ourselves. What you see, what you feel, what you understand from the environment, from the outside world, we bring it to ourselves. So it is quite important to take care of this brain, because it is really going to determine what the other brains will be able to go through. Then when you come to, before I even go continue with head brain, I can mention something about heart. Heart is internal, it's a feeling. You know, even when you talk about
emotions,
heart, it's more of emotions. And you know that even also controls our thought in a way. Can I ask you, when people fall in love, and then you try, anybody comes to try to separate them, irrespective of where they come from. Someone might be from maybe a rich background, maybe someone else is also from a very poor background. But probably the families will not have liked that way. But for the two, they have liked it. So the feeling has taken them very much. So you find that the feeling can also resort to what thought is going to happen. And later, you'll be able to tell that, well, it was true that these people loved each other so much. So their feeling has resorted to making sure that the thought is also going to. So that's why I'm saying it's connected. Then when we come to the other part of gut, gut is the body. That is the system of our digestion. And to be sincere, if your gut is in problems, you can be for sure that even your thoughts and your feelings will be having problems. Can you imagine now when you have a stomachache because you ate something that is not right? And I am not denying this, but we most of the time get ourselves taking things and eating things that are not healthy. From what we see around us. And eventually you find that you are having issue with digestion, stomach aches, and of course running stomach. So what happens? You feel that even the other part is aching, even as you speak. When you feel that there is headache, it means that the body is having some problem. So we resort to understanding that when there is a pain or maybe headache, you need to see why is the headache coming? Because maybe the stomach is having a problem. So you see the interconnection of the three. I can tell you for sure and share that there is none of them which can stay without the other. So even if head looks like it is the supreme or the main thing, you can imagine it cannot stay without neck. Let me say as an example. Without neck, how can you be having a head? Just like we normally hear that a man is the head, a woman is the neck. But this neck has to keep on supporting the head. If neck is not there, then how can head continue surviving? So the same thing applies to these three brains. So it is not such complicated things. The only thing is to understand there are three, and they are interrelated, they are connected, and they are very essential in our health care. The point is that the most important thing, once you understand, you have done like 50% of solving the problem. Because if you have a problem with either of the three or all of the three and no understanding, then I do not know how you can be able to sort the problem. So as we said, and we are saying even now, the key thing is to understand. And now, viewers, you understand, probably you know what is it all about, but now you are getting into dig deeper, that the 3 brains are the key areas. They carry like 98% of our lives. Yes.
And I'm so glad you started off by saying, you know, they're interconnected. And so once you've taken care of these 3 aspects, you're able to, you know, live for a long time.
Yes.
You know, as a wellness consultant, have you come across people that, you know, really underestimate one brain to the other? Perhaps they take care of themselves more physically and they, you know, forget their brains or their heads. Have you come across those kind of cases?
Absolutely. They are like every other time. They are there. But the reason is that somebody who do that is because of lack of understanding. But we can sometimes not blame, but again, we have to blame because even we are told that ignorance actually has no defense. Like, for example, if you have done something wrong against the law of the country, the law will not understand that you did not know. You'll have to face the consequences. The laws of the universe, the way God created it, even if you don't understand, you still be subjected to its consequences. So there are so many people who take care of one specific brain, probably let's say the gut. And as I speak today, and I'm saying this for sure, is that many of the people I've met, they have no, they don't consider so much thinking about the brain and the heart. They would always consider about the body, because gut is the body itself. It's the physical body that we have. So you find we mostly consider about how do I look? Do I look presentable? Which is okay. It's fine. It's nice. We all like to look presentable. And I can tell you for sure, you cannot come on TV when you look like you are just come from Wazoo, and you expect to talk something that is going to influence and tell people that you came really from a good place, not from Wazoo. So the appearance is fantastic. So, but that being the case, you find that we really concentrate on how do I look? That is now the physical. Forgetting the heart, which no one can see. Forgetting the head brain, which no one can see. But concentrating on what other people can see. But that in mind, it's also good to know that they are connected. You cannot ignore one and then concentrate on the other. So it is true, we have so many people who concentrate on that. But I want to tell you for sure from today, it's good to dig deep, because digging deep is the important thing, so that you can know and understand how do I handle the others, and make sure that they are well connected, they are well intertwined, and they can help me live a healthier life than I used to do before.
Right.
Yes.
So when somebody comes to your doorstep and you've pinpointed out that there's no balance between what they let into their heart, what they let into their head, as well as what they let into their gut, where's the starting point? You've explained to them about what you're explaining on the knowledge of it and understanding it. So what is the first thing that they need to start to do? Where do they start from? For lack of a better word, it's sort of like, filtering now to ensure that they make all these 3 key areas balanced.
Where to start? Of course, there is somewhere that is always, there is always a starting point. First from what we have just mentioned, understanding the 3. Then the other thing is that once you understand and never forget any of them, the start point should be, of course, like I would start from what is known to what is not known. Because even when we were in school, even now, like we are here, we are still in school, every day is a learning day. We learn that you start from known to unknown. From what we know, so that now we can be able to go to what we don't know. From now, what people know, that is good to take care of our physical appearance, which is nice. Understand it deeper. Make sure that you take care of your gut, your physical internal ingestion, so that it also resonates very well. Once your gut, or maybe your gut is okay, you are able to digest food properly, you are taking care of what you eat, because that is important. You are doing physical exercise to bring up the metabolism. You are eating healthier. And of course, you are taking time to rest. I remember last time when we were here, we talked about the way how one is supposed to sleep. So once we take care of that, you understand also the heart will be able to relax. Have you done exercises? What does one feel when they do exercise? They feel like nice, you know, they would sleep properly. You have like removed some baggages and some things you have been carrying over a period of time, and then you are there. So there is somebody who said, one of the lecturers, I think he said that lose yourself into action so that you don't wither in despair. So once you lose yourself into action, it means you are taking care of the physical part of it. So it is also going to help the heart to relax and pump the blood properly, because the functions of the heart is to make sure that blood is flowing to every part of the body. Very nice. Then you can understand and know that once that is done very well, of course the mind will relax. You have just been able to hear, even confirm and experience that once you do physical exercises, you eat well, you are able to relax. You even have a very nice moment of relaxing. Your brain cools down, and you think better, you think deeper, even if you are angry. For example, we are told many times, and it is true, that anytime you have an issue with somebody, or maybe you feel like you want to beat and kill somebody, you know that happens to many places, especially currently we hear the cases we have, especially in our homes, that somebody can wake up and kill everybody. But the best advice is, when that gets into you, that's a physical feeling. The best thing that one can do is just walk out. Just go. Go out, walk around, or you can even do exercises. Just go. But the time you come back, you'll never be the same person. You'll have thought and gotten into another sense whereby you feel now you don't want to do that. And of course, once you do such kind of things, the law is checking on you. So the point to start is where we are, the physical part of it. Let's take care of the physical part of it in consideration and understanding that it's also going to take care of our mind, of our heart. And when the physical part of it is good, you see the blood is flowing well. The cholesterol level, of course, we know the cholesterol issues is quite a concern to our hearts, and know how you can deal with arteries and veins that normally carries a lot of issues related with the cholesterol, which builds up to health issues. And brain has relaxed. You are not getting into mental problems. So we start with that point that we know. Then we head to the next. But we can always get to details when somebody would like to get more details, maybe in personal levels. That is always welcome. Thank you. One
of the things that you've mentioned is on eating healthier and physical exercises. So I'll stick on the eating healthier a bit, because you know, it's a question of, do people take balanced diets in the meals that they do take? So I'd love us to get into the specifics on what we let into our guts. What does a healthy food look like, or what does eating healthier mean?
We normally hear a saying that goes like this: you are what you eat. Do you agree with that?
I wouldn't know.
You agree. At a certain percentage is true. But I want to share with this that you are not only what you eat, you are even more on what you absorb. I want that one to sink. You are even more of what you absorb. You can eat the most healthiest diet ever in this world, which maybe I believe every king is getting on their table every morning. You know, kings would eat all the healthy diet around them, because they have got resources, they have got everything, so they are taken care of. But is it going to be absorbed? Is the body going to accept what you have been given it? That's another question. But many times we find that even if you eat a very healthy diet from anywhere, the absorption is now a concern. Because if the body has accumulated a lot of toxics over a period of time, I believe you have seen like the water, the tubes or the pipes that carry water over a period of time. It has been clean water all through. But if you check that pipe over a period of time, you'll find there is a lot of dirt that has settled there. We have taken a lot of good clean water, but over a period of time, check even on the containers that we settle or store water. After some time, you'll find that down at the bottom, you'll find there is a lot of filthy dust. So it means over a period of the time, whether we like it or not, we accumulate toxins. Either we eat healthy or we just do that, we don't do that.
Yeah.
So the best thing is to make sure that we are able to clean that filthy that has settled within our gut.
Yes.
So that even if you eat healthy, the body is going to absorb. We have opened the pores that can be able to absorb that. So that is the one point. Then the other point is elimination.
Yeah.
Before we come to the elimination is digestion. The rate of digestion depending with people and age, and of course maybe the kind of work the person is doing. Digestion is also very key. And that has been a concern, especially in many of people who complain about stomach issues, and that is gut as we speak. Digestion is quite an extensive area that needs a lot of time to talk about it, but in a nutshell, it is very important to know that once the digestion with good bacteria, and I want to confirm and say that the right bacteria to help one to have good digestion, it goes to a ratio of 85 to 15. That is 85% of good bacteria and 15% of bad bacteria. If it is not in this ratio, then digestion will be having a problem. Then you can ask, how do I know that I have good and bad bacteria? That you can always have a check. We have got technology that can help somebody to do this. But before you even get to that, you can tell with the signs. Anytime you eat something and you feel like you have eaten the whole world, you have eaten like small food, or maybe you have eaten like small madas, or any food that you have put, and you feel like you have anything, you have eaten everything, then understand there is a problem of that bacteria. If you feel that the gas is you are having gas all through the day, at times you chew like you get a chewing gum, you chew and feel like the stomach is accumulating gases, then understand there is a concern with bacteria ratio. So you can tell with the feelings. That's a problem of the gut. So digestion will not happen properly. And that confirms that the ingestion and of course the toxics are alarming. Then elimination. How do you eliminate? Elimination meaning that you have eaten, and after 3 hours, of course you go to washrooms, you go to long calls. But many times, I've even had many cases that somebody would say, I've never gone to long call for 1 week. Are you alive? And you are alive. And have you been eating? Yes, every 3 meals I'm eating enough. Are you serious? And that is okay? Then that is a problem. Because our body is supposed to eliminate some of the food that is not going to absorb. But again, if you don't go to long call to eliminate, and every time after eating there is some toxic, some waste that is kept somewhere, kept somewhere. Over a period of the time, one will experience like constipation. Because if waste is accumulated so much in along the digestion area, or maybe the intestine, you find now the water that is in the waste is absorbed back into the body. So what happens? You leave the solid waste into the intestine. So that results later when you are going to long call, you'll feel like you are moving a mountain. You feel like you have to cry. You know how sometimes that one would feel. And it's such a bad feeling. In fact, if you find somebody who is not able to go to long calls and they want, you'll sympathize with them. And that will result to something later, because of the pressure that is subjected to that. It's going to bring piles and hemorrhoids, which again is such a very, very, very disturbing experience. So we have started with the gut and taking care of that the gut is well cleansed, so that digestion will be okay, absorption is fine, and the elimination is awesome.
Right, and you know, you've brought out such an important point on local, because I know a lot of parents, when they're raising up their children and the kids are young, and when the child does not go for a long call, it's always alarming to the parents, and they will always want to find out what is happening, and they've not gone for a long call for the whole day. But somehow when we translate to adults, we seem to just think it's normal, it's because perhaps I've not eaten. So I know this question may sound weird, but what is the better, you know, how would I put it? How often should one go for a long call in a day?
After every, the best and the normal way, when the body is all good,
normal working, yeah,
is after every 3 hours you have taken your meal, you should go for long course. Minimum 3 hours.
3 hours post meal now.
So if you take breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so 3 times in a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have seen people who are very happy because they have not gone. You know, it's you reduce some expenses because
my lord,
because you just reduce the expenses.
Yeah.
You know, of course, there is a lot of water you can use on that. There is some other things you need to use.
Yeah.
You feel like it's a good achievement. But do you know what is costing you? It's costing your life. So it is always good to be there. That small room is very important. And for sure, let me confirm and say, if there is a better place to have good thoughts, I'm confirming this, and you will know, and it's only true, that if there is a better place that you can have good thoughts, is when you are open, and when you are releasing, and when you are eliminating.
Okay.
That is the truth of the matter. It might not be the right thing to say, but it is the truth of the matter because it's an experience. And guys, let's work on how to go and do elimination. And you cannot do that if your body is full of toxics, is full of issues. And that's what gut is all about. Yeah. So guys, let's get good minds and ideas that are coming from that small room because we are able to move there.
Right.
Welcome.
Right. That's interesting. I'm glad we've done on gut, on the absorption, the digestion, as well as the elimination. Let's talk about the heart, because some of the times you'd be heartbroken. Other times you're very happy, you're very excited, things are working very well. How much is too much? How much can the heart handle?
Well, heart is wonderful organ, very awesome. Do you know, heart is even like one world in ourselves.
Yeah.
Can confirm to you, heart can carry almost everything that you love it to carry, but as long as you take good care of it. But the most important thing for heart to function properly, you should make sure that its supply of oxygen and blood is awesome. There is no pressure. No. The kind of, this happened to people who have got high blood or low blood pressure.
Yes.
And that is as a result of the arteries and veins in them having cholesterol that accumulate over a period of time. So it will result to pressure to the heart. And that can result to even heart failures. So heart can take as much as you like it to have. But what happens, help the heart to live or to remain healthy and operational as it ought to be. Because even as in a feeling, you can accommodate with love with as many people as possible, irrespective of this love that you are giving these people is not of interest. Love is unlimited, and that's what our heart is all about. But when we go out, meaning that I'm of interest, maybe there is an interest after, that's why I'm loving you. That can also compromise something else. Yeah. But as long as it's a general feeling of the heart and loving everybody, that's what his heart is all about. So let us keep our heart functioning properly with good supply of oxygen. Sometimes get to a place where you can get enough oxygen to make sure that the arteries and veins have got good flow of blood. And the blood, which is like fluid or like lubrication that helps the heart to continue functioning, should have the right viscosity. We always say blood is thicker than water. Yeah. There is no way you can make blood like water and think that things will be the same. Because the reason as why the blood is thicker than the water is because it carries life. Understand? Yeah. It carries life. Yeah. And life in it is in nutrients, minerals, vitamins that is applied to all parts of the body, irrespective of where you are or whatever you do. So that's big how heart can be. Right.
From what I'm getting that you're describing, Wilson, is that the sole purpose of the heart is to pump blood, not these other things that people put as the work of the heart. So when we concentrate on how our heart is pumping blood, as well as is our heart receiving enough supply of blood, then that is a proper functioning heart.
Yes. Yes,
right? Because
yes.
you also need,
Yes.
you need to do exercises. So exercises
Yes.
also play a role in just how your heart is working.
Absolutely. Yes. That's the reason why we say these things are interconnected. They are related to one another. No one organ or brain can remain by itself and forget the other. So once you do exercise, you eat well, you help even the blood. And of course, you feed the brain with the right nutrients so that it's an organ. It's a living organ. And everything that is living, it requires feeding. And not just feeding, but feeding right. So heart, beside being somewhere that we feel and put our loves, or maybe put our lives, is an organ. So it's an organ that needs to be taken care of physically. And the physical part of it is just what you have just mentioned, like feeding it properly, supply of blood is awesome. And just to mention, even when somebody has died, the three organs, they don't actually, especially heart, they remain for some time. Do you know it is even confirmed that one heart can be removed from a person who has died, and it's okay, it's functioning, but you don't have to wait for long. It's removed almost immediately, then can be donated to somebody who has heart problem. So it confirms that heart is something that is even beyond our bodies. It can even go even when we are dead. So something that we should take care of, and that's, I think, where God is always. It's always God is in our hearts. It's always true to say that. I've never heard, and you can tell me, is God in our brains?
No, God is in our hearts.
Thank you.
Now, I'd love us to finish on the head as well, and the thoughts that relate into our mind. You normally hear a lot of mental health advocates say it's best to always mind what you're reading, mind what you're seeing, or even what you're viewing on your social media, just what you're consuming on a day-to-day basis, because it is all in the head. So with the thoughts, what should we be doing on a day-to-day basis to ensure that we've got our thoughts right, or at least what we are letting into our head right?
Well, it's always to have balance. Good to have balance on anything. But and as we speak today, we have got so much toxins and consumption of maybe especially on our gadgets, and that is distorting our thinking and our brains, and our head brain, that is. I can confirm that it was research confirmed that just like last month, that Kenyans are the most people who are on phone and laptops on social media. I believe you have heard that. Kenyans. But on the contrary, Japan, they are the least people who are on their phones or social media. But just see the developments. Compare Kenya with Japan in development.
They're way ahead.
Way ahead. And you find most of the time they are not on phone, on social media. They are not. What are they doing? They are doing inventions. I'm not saying it's bad to do that, and truly speaking, why is it that other countries have discovered this technology and we have not been able to discover? How long does Mark Zuckerberg stay on Facebook?
Good question.
He's the founder. But can you research and find how long does he stay on Facebook? Do you think he's just seated there? He's thinking of something else he can bring. He's looking on other people who have come up with ideas. Then he can also collaborate or buy them, like what he did on WhatsApp. So that, as guys, we can still remain there, consuming what these guys has been able to give us. Well, it looks like it's not a good thing to say, but the point that we are always in consumption of these social media, we'll never come up with our own invention. So let's balance, have time to even get out of these gadgets. Like you can walk in darkness, not that you are going to do bad things. Walk in darkness because you want to resonate, to think. You don't want to think about what is outside. Walk in darkness like you want to think about yourself. What is it that you can invent and bring into place so others can live and help others. So let us limit. As long as we are doing business on social media, as long as we are doing things on those gadgets so that we can make our livings, we need to balance and have time for the other things, because we'll continue being consumers until the end of the world. And other people will continue being inventors. So they'll be having market on our side because we are ready to buy what they are producing. So it is important, have program. Like you say, 24 hours. This is the time I'll get into social media. This is the time I'll do exercises. This is the time I'll read a book. This is the time I'll have my own time to think. This is the time I'll be able even to walk out with friends. Understand life in a holistic way. Because life is not only just one way. It's in many ways. So that even our brains can be able to pick other things that you cannot be able to pick them when you are just only on the camera or on the screen.
Yeah.
And that's the way. And then you are going to avoid toxics. Because the toxics, if something is done for so long, if you can keep eating the whole day, what is it going to happen? Keep eating the whole day, the food comes from this side, somebody else comes from this side with another type of food, another person is coming with a very favorable of your food that you have never eaten for the last 3 years. You feel, I would have taken this first before I've eaten this. Yeah. So how is it going to happen to you? You'll have a lot of problems especially. So let us be able to balance, get out. It is even more effective. You might spend a lot of time on gadgets, then you are never constructive. Have you noted that? You are just scrolling. You are just checking who is this celeb who did this. You watch like a small video that has come, it's entertaining, and for sure you can be, it's addictive. And it is addictive, but what is it giving at the end of the day? So it's good to make sure that you are able to balance so that we can even grow on other areas. Right. What do we have time to listen to our God and talk to God? That is also important. So that is what I can say about making sure that we are getting away of these gadgets sometimes so that we can also be able to understand and live the life of what is supposed to be lived. Right. Yes.
So we've got a few minutes to wrap it up. Kanye, one actually to be precise, perhaps you can just, finalize from where you sit in 1 minute, Kanye.
Well, that's a good concern. You have just given me a challenge. How do I summarize this?
Yeah, how do you summarize? Yeah.
So let me say thank you so much. This is awesome to have you guys on board. And how I can summarize this is just in a simple way. Guys, let us understand there is 3 brains. And 98% of our lives depends with these 3 brains. The head brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain. So starting with what you know, that is most of the time we know the gut and our physical. Take care of your gut. Also resonate very well with the heart, which is where our love, feelings, and intelligence, confidence comes from. Then our minds, that's our head brain. You make sure that you are able to differentiate or program the 24 hours that we have. When you are supposed to do this, when you are supposed to do that. And as I come to an end, and I say this, find us always. We shall always be coming here many times, but you can always get through our maybe social medias, be able to say, I have got my own social media. That is Wilson T. Trump. That is Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. But on phone, kindly, that is even faster. You can give a call and talk to us. We'll be able to guide you through 0722 465 510. 0722 465 510. Thank you so much, and back to you.
All right, thank you. You almost, became my co-host there. Back to you. But I thank you very much, Wilson Kanye, for coming in this morning. He's a life, health, and wellness consultant for speaking on health and lifestyle. Like I started by saying they complement each other. He's basically echoed that these 3 brains that we have, the head, the heart, and the gut, they work together. So if you're taking care of your gut more than your heart, there's a problem. Similarly, if you're taking care of more of your head than your heart, then there's a problem somewhere. So we need to find that balance, and that has been the conversation this morning. I'd love to give a shout out to some of the guys that have been watching us. Teresa Blessed says, absolutely good job, I've learned a lot. I've also got Nicole Shanti who says, you're on point, Kanye. We also have Zeleke who says, amen, amen, and amen, clearly agreeing with what you've said. So thank you very much for watching. we are happy that this has been such an important conversation that we've had and that you've learned so much. So in case you've missed this broadcast, you can rewatch it across our social media platforms on YouTube and on Facebook. Share the broadcasts with your friends, with your family, and I'm sure they'll be able to learn so much more as well. So coming up at the top of the hour is Your Faith Today with Reverend Felix Kavoy. Keep watching EBN TV. We've got an amazing program lined up throughout the day. I'm Cynthia Nanjala.